Testing, testing. Okay, I think that fixed that. It must have been the update did that. Hello? Can you hear me now? Good, good, good. Okay. So I guess you didn't hear me. Anyway, to repeat, I'll say it again. I put in a ticket last night to Streamlabs support, and I got an email from Ashley this morning. They handled this amazing and quick. Said, we've just pushed out an update. Go to your app store, make sure you're updated to version blah, 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 and that should solve your problems. And it did. In the meantime, earlier this morning, I was panicking, so I found another streaming platform. I think they're $1.99 a month, whereas Streamlabs is free, but $1.99 is pretty inconsequential. So if something like that happens again, I've got an alternative. They connect to YouTube very easily, just like this one does. And that's the thing. That's the thing with YouTube. If you have 1,000 subscribers, you can just go into your YouTube app and broadcast directly. But if you don't, you have to get another streaming app like this to be able to do it. Kind of a catch-22, wouldn't you say? How are you going to get the 1,000 subscribers to be able to stream if you can't stream? Makes no sense to me. There's Thomas Lynn. Am I saying that right? Just got the 65 set. And Kenyon, to follow up, with the loss by the Orioles, the Athletics are now tied for first place. Can you believe that? Let's check the percentage points here, okay? Exactly. No, Kansas City has them on percentage points. 21 and 10, Baltimore 22 and 11. Line, thank you. Thomas Line. Had to be one of the two. I got it wrong, okay? Took a 50-50 shot. And I blew it. Anyway, I'll try to remember that. There's Kelly as well. Yeah, a win by KC would give them sole possession to first place. I think we all know it would be short-lived, as they're going to start trading off players soon. Kind of makes you wonder what might have been, right? Ralph Terry will pitch for Kansas City. Earl Wilson for Boston. You can see Wilson's going to finish the year with the Tigers. Both pretty good cards. I'll flip them over here so you can take a look while I give you their replay stats, as we usually do here. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. More than you know, I'm sure. Okay, Terry has made 2 starts, 4 relief appearances. He's 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA so far, 19 innings of work. For Wilson, this will be his 9th start, 3-2 with a 4.45, 2 complete games, 63 innings of work. And we all know about Wilson's hitting prowess. He used as a pinch hitter many times in his distinguished career. Oh, Franklin, don't even talk to me about lobster. I probably mentioned that I had my first ever lobster roll in California on this latest trip. Oh my goodness. All right, here's the Kansas City lineup. Wayne Causey will lead off and play shortstop today. Dick Green at second base, hit second. Mike Hirschberger will be in center batting third. Billy Bryan is at first base in the cleanup spot. Larry Stahl in right field hits fifth. Ed Charles at third base hits sixth. Ken Harrelson is in left field batting seventh. Ken Suarez, the catcher, bats eighth, and Terry, the pitcher, bats ninth. The Red Sox defensively will have Bob Tillman doing the catching. George Scott at first, Dalton Jones, Rico Petrocelli up the middle with Joe Foy at third, and the outfield left to right of Yastrzemski, Gosker, and Canigliaro. Here's Causey now. Wilson ready to go to work here. Umpire says, play ball. Wayne Causey steps in, hitting .219. No homers, 7 RBIs. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch. It's a 2-8 right-handed, a grounder down to first base. Scott's going to take it himself. And we are underway here. Glad to have everybody here. What day is this? Wednesday. On a Wednesday. Oh, God, I'm loose today. Okay. Focus, Steve, focus. Here's Green now, hitting .284. 2 home runs, a club-leading 22 RBIs for the second baseman. Wilson set now. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-9 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. Wilson fans Green, 2 down, and here's Hirschberger. Hirschberger batting .265, 1 homer, 15 RBIs. Wilson with the pitch. It is a 3-8 right-handed. It's a triple to 6, and would you look at that? It's the daily triple. Bounces away from Gosker in center. Hirschberger takes advantage of that and scoots into third. Here's the throw. He is safe with the daily triple. A 2-out triple for Hirschberger. Let's look at it again. It's a 3-8, 1 to 6. The roll is a 6. Hirschberger standing at third with 2 down. Here's Billy Bryan playing first base today, hitting just 182, 1 homer, 4 RBIs. Unusual cleanup man, I'm thinking. But that's how they wrote him, so that's how we're playing it. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-9 right-handed, struck him out. So they strand Hirschberger at third. Wilson fans 2, no runs a hit, 1 left. After half an inning of play, it's Kansas City 0. Boston coming to bat. I'm catching up on the chat now. Thank you, Ben, for the umpiring crew. That's Bill Haller, isn't it? I'm guessing. Yeah, we got the triple leading off. 40 years of left field coverage with Williams, Yaz, Rice, and Greenwell. As Wilson gets ready to work, we'll go over the Boston lineup here. Rico Petrocelli leads off at short. Jim Gosker in center bats second. Yaz, of course, third, playing left. George Scott, the cleanup man, at first. Tony Canigliaro, fifth in right field. Dalton Jones at second base hits sixth. Third baseman Joe Foy, seventh. The catcher Bob Tillman, eighth. And Wilson, a good hitting pitcher, in the 9 spot. Let's get the right pitcher out there. Ralph Terry ready to go to work now. Here's Petrocelli to lead it off. Petrocelli hitting .264, 3 homers, 13 RBIs. Terry gets the sign. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch to Rico. It's going to be a 5-11 right-handed. It's a grounder to first base X. That's going to be Billy Bryan. some shaky defensive ratings in the Kansas City lineup today, and none worse than Brian, a 5E30 at first base. Here's the play on a 6, and he can't handle it. That's through, and it's a single. Through for a base hit. Leadoff single by Petrocelli. No threat to run. Let's check the battery anyway. Terry a +1. Suarez with a +3. With 3/3/12 there. He's got almost as much chance of being caught. That doesn't even count the pickoff. He's got more of a chance of being out than he does of getting the lead. Between the automatic caught and the possible pickoff on a 20-sided 1, yeah, he won't be going anywhere. The batter will be Gosker. Gosker hitting just 182, 10 for 55. 1 homer, 4 RBIs for the left-handed hitter. Terry working from the stretch. 5-7 lefty is a grounder to second base X. That's going to be Green, a good second baseman. 2E19, this could be 2. Here's the play on an 8. It's the E range. It's a 7. E19 on a 7. It's still going to turn 2. It's Green to Kazi to Brian. Nice play, Green. Double play. 4-6-3X. So a nifty play by Green. 2 down. And Carl Yastrzemski will be the hitter. Yaz hitting 252, 4 homers, 17 RBIs as Terry comes set. Here's the windup and the pitch to Yaz. It's a 1-9 right-handed slow roller to short. Kazi charges on the run, throws him out. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We're scoreless after an inning. Welcome everybody. Just getting started here. Hang out with me on a, well, for me anyway, it's a gloomy day. Some sun trying to peek through, about 44 degrees here. Very cold this morning. Brian is the Dr. Strangelove II. Heck, his rating might be worse than Stewart's. I wonder. 5E30, what was Stewart? He's worse than Stewart. Stewart's a 5E28. Very close, of course. Okay, Wilson ready to go to work for the home team. Larry Stahl will lead it off for Kansas City. Stahl hitting 258, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. Batting left-handed, Wilson gets the sign from Tillman. Here's the pitch on a 2-11. He bangs a single into left field. So Stahl goes the other way with it. He's got a leadoff single. Stahl is star 15 stealer. Wilson with a poor +4 hold. And Tillman with a +3 arm behind the plate. So the Red Sox will be running every opportunity they get today. That makes Stahl a 20. Held, he's an 18. Stahl has stolen 3 bases, has not been caught. Held at 18. Ed Charles steps to the plate, hitting 273, 1 homer, 13 RBIs. Stahl's going to try for the lead. 2 through 5, 11 or 12. 6, he does not get it. On the back number, he would be 11 plus 5 minus 4, 12. Next pitch to Charles. 2-7, single to right field. It's an open single. Stahl can go to third. 14, 16. Canigliaro a 0. They're sending Stahl, and Boston will cut it off wisely and hold Charles to first. Charles with excellent speed would have certainly taken second on the throw. But that presents another predicament for the Red Sox. Charles Star 16 plus 5. He's also an 18 held. He's going to roll for the lead with Harrelson at the plate. 2 through 5 and 11. 10, he does not get it. Back number, he's 17 minus 4, 13. That's possible. That's something to think about. There's nobody out. Harrelson at 241, 1 homer, 7 RBIs. He's going to swing away here. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Good point, Franklin, and you're absolutely right. Can you think of any speedsters that played for the Red Sox? Off the top of my head, I cannot. Infield at double play depth. Runner being held. The pitch to Harrelson is a 3-3 right-handed, and he bangs a single into left field. That's going to score Stahl. Charles can try to go to third. To left, 16-14. Yaz with the -3 makes it 11. They're going to hold him at second. And it's an RBI single for Hawk Harrelson. 1-0, Kansas City. Harrelson also with speed on the bases. Kind of a bad combination for the Red Sox here with a +4 pitcher and a +3 catcher against a speedy team. The Athletics have stolen 35 bases and only been caught 7 times. 1-0 Kansas City. Ken Suarez, the hitter. Suarez, of course, a walkmeister. He's hitting .232. He's 13 for 56, but he has 18 walks. No home runs. Still nobody out. Wilson out of the stretch. It's a 2-3 right-handed, and he walks him to load the bases. So Wilson in trouble here in the second. That loads him up. Pitcher Ralph Terry will be the batter. He's a 3-hitter, right-handed batter. He's a C bunter. Infield will be back. He's going to swing away. Wilson with the pitch. 3-8 right-handed. He struck him out. That's the first out of the inning. Third strikeout of the game for Wilson. Battling to get out of this jam, and here's Wayne Causey. Causey grounded to first his first time up. Infield at double play depth now. Wilson gets the sign from Tillman. Here's the pitch. 2-10 right-handed. He pops him up. Infield fly rule. Jones calling. He's got it. Once again, no runners can advance. And now Wilson just 1 out from getting out of this jam with minimal damage as Dick Green steps to the plate. Green, of course, the Athletics RBI leader. 22 on the season. Struck out his first time against Wilson. Wilson very deliberate out there now. Now comes set, full windup, and here's the pitch to Green. That's a 4-10 right-handed fly ball to left field, shallow. Here comes Yastrzemski. He's there. And Wilson gets out of the bases loaded situation, only allowing 1 run, 3 hits, 3 left on. So kind of a wasted opportunity there for Kansas City. They do lead it 1-0. You kind of feel like the Red Sox got off cheap there, however. Greetings to Perry. Yes, sir. Exactly. Yeah, right field. I've heard that referred to as the Red Sox right field plays like center field. And you look at the players that have played there, it would certainly bear that out, wouldn't it? Dwight Evans comes to mind immediately. Yeah, and then there's my cat's namesake as well, right? Mookie. Bottom of the second, George Scott will lead it off for Boston. Scott comes in at 241. A team leading 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. Terry into the windup. 1-2, bangs a single into left field. Leadoff single for Scott. +1, +4 battery. Scott not a threat to steal, however. Here's Canigliaro now. Tony C. hitting 273, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs. He and Scott tied for the club lead in that category. Terry works out of the stretch now. Here's the pitch to Tony. It's a 4-8 right-hander, a single to 5 on the 11. That ground ball is fielded by Brian, who goes down to Kazi for 1. Back to first, not in time. That's going to be a 3-6 force. Canigliaro on first now with 1 away. And the batter is second baseman Dalton Jones. Jones hitting 234, 11 for 47, 1 home run, 1 RBI. Left-handed batter. Terry working from the stretch. On a 6-7 left-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes Jones. First K for Terry. That's 2 down. And the batter will be Foy. Foy hitting 284. 6 home runs, a dozen RBIs. Terry from the stretch now. The pitch to Foy is a 5-9 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Terry ends the inning emphatically, punching out 2. No runs, a hit, 1 left. 2 in the books. It's 1-0 Kansas City. Give me a moment here while I catch up on the chat here. That says a lot there, Thomas. Yeah, it's all-time, 4th all-time in franchise history with 168 steals. There is Robbie. Talking to the ambulance shed. You'll have to elaborate a little bit on that one. And a shout out to Gerald who's entered the chat. I tell you, I'm just pleased to have the Zoom back. Some things you take for granted until you don't have them, right? Okay, Kansas City to hit in the 3rd. It's going to be the heart of the order. Hirschberger, Bryan, and Stahl. Hirschberger tripled and was stranded there in the 1st. Well, hopefully no one needed an ambulance, Robbie. Wilson set now. Gets the sign from Tillman. Here's the windup and the pitch to Hirschberger. It's a 3-7 right-handed. Fly ball into straightaway center. Gosker backs up a few steps and hauls it in. That'll bring up Bryan. Billy Bryan struck out in the 1st. Wilson gets his sign. Here's the pitch. It's a 3-11 right-handed. He goes the other way with it, tops one towards 3rd. Foy comes in on it and throws him out. Two down, and here's Stahl. Stahl singled his first time up to lead off the 2nd. Now batting in the 3rd with 2 away. Here's the pitch from Wilson. 1-10, fly ball into left field and playable for Yastrzemski. Easy play for Yaz, and it's an easy inning for Earl Wilson. We move to the bottom of the 3rd in a 1-0 ball game. Damn fine cup of coffee. Tillman, Wilson, and then back to the top with Petrocelli. Tillman, by the way, leads the Red Sox in batting at 302. He's 19 for 63, so probably not enough at-bats to qualify. But he is hitting 302, 1 homer, 10 RBIs. Terry into the windup. Here's the pitch. It's a 6-12 right-handed. It's a grounder to the pitcher X. Terry a 5 E22. Hold your breath on this one. Here's the play. On a 6, it's the E rating. It's the roll of a 10 on an E22, and he's got it. Throws him out. Nice play, Terry. 1-3X. Tillman retired. That'll bring up the pitcher, Wilson. He's a 7 hitter with N power. Right-handed batter. Here's Terry's pitch. On a 2-6, Wilson bangs a base hit right up. Sorry, it's a 4-6. Excuse me. 4-6. Eyes playing tricks again. It's a double to 5. He bangs a base hit up the center anyway. On the roll of a 10, Wilson helps himself out there with a 1-out single. And here's Rico, who singled his first time up. Petrocelli batting right-handed. Terry from the stretch. Comes in there with a 4-9 right-handed. It's a fly ball into right field and playable. Stahl is there. 2 down. They're better. Yeah. Better than when I struggled earlier at the end of last week, I guess it was. A little fuzzier than the last 2 days. But still fine. I can see everything. Sometimes it's the shift between reading this and then reading the stats and the chat on the 2 computer screens. I probably, like many of us, have spent way too much time looking at screens. At least not my entire life, like the younger generation, right? But since the mid-90s, quite a bit. Certainly since the turn of the century. You know how I love saying that, right? Yeah, I remember before the turn of the century. Here's Gosker with 2 down. Gosker 0 for 1. Terry trying to get out of this now from the stretch. The pitch to Gosker is a 5-4 left-handed. It's a fly to center field X. That's going to be Hirschberger. Good outfielder, Hirschberger. He's a 2 E8. Ranging to his right. The roll on the play is a 3, and he's not going to get there. It's down for a single. Holy smoke. And Wilson's going to go all the way to third. So a 2-out single by Gosker makes it runners at the corners 2 down. And here comes Yaz. Now Terry's in a bit of trouble here. Yaz 0 for 1. Isn't that something, Ben? Is that a kind of a car, Franklin? No, I know it's not. It sounds like it should be, though. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Runners will be going on the pitch now as Terry runs the count full. And here's the pitch to Yastrzemski on a 4-5. Ground ball to second. Green has it. Flips to Bryan. And Terry's out of trouble here in the third. No runs, a pair of hits, 2 left on. Terry dodging some bullets here, but after 3 innings of play, Athletics lead at 1-0. Here's Wilson now. They'll be looking at Charles, Harrelson, and Suarez in the 4th. Charles singled his first time up. Wilson set now. Here's the windup and the pitch to Charles. That's a 4-4 right-handed. Catcher's card X. That's going to be for Tillman. Tillman a 3-E-4. And here's the play. On a 17, it's a foul out to the catcher. Tillman goes back to make the grab, and there's one away. Here's Hawk Harrelson now. Hawk drove in the only run of the game so far in the second. Wilson into the windup. That's a 5-10 right-handed ground ball to shortstop. Petrocelli has it, throws across in time. Oh, I got it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. An Atari, yes. I had a friend who had one of those. I never had one. Two down, here's Suarez. He walked his first time up. Let me look at it again. Where is he? That was his 19th walk of the season. Wilson into the windup. Here's the pitch. It's a 3-11 right-handed. Grounder up the middle. Petrocelli there. Throws. He is out. It's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Wilson, who is now retired 9 in a row. And it's still a 1-0 ball game. That's beautiful, Thomas. You know, can't you just hear him saying that? And of course, then I immediately think of the Naked Gun, right? A luxury item to be sure, but as you can see, Lieutenant Drebin, I am a man who appreciates the finer things in life. Bottom of the fourth. Sox trying to get off the mat against Ralph Terry. They'll have Scott, Canigliaro, and Jones. Suarez flashing the signs. The pitch from Terry to Scott. 3-4 right-handed. He struck him out. That's strikeout number 3 for Terry. And here's Tony C. Canigliaro 0 for 1 on the day. Yes, exactly. The pitch from Terry. 5-6 right-handed, grounder down to third. Charles takes it, throws to Bryan in time. So both pitchers humming along here today. 2 away, and here's Dalton Jones. Jones struck out his first time against Ralph. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 5-10 left-handed, it's a grounder to short X. That's going to be Causey. That could be trouble. It's a tough play for Wayne. Not usually a shortstop. He's a 4E56. And here's that play on a 7. He makes the stop to his feet and throws him out. Can you believe it? Nice play. It's short by Causey. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Terry. Yeah, Causey playing mostly second and third, but he's been at short the last couple of games. I have to assume a minor injury to Campaneris, most likely. Here's Terry. He'll lead off the 5th. Struck out his first time against Wilson. Wilson into the windup. Here's the pitch. It's a 6-6 right-handed. Fly to center, playable for Gosker. He makes the catch, 1 down. So Terry got some good wood on it, but it's just a lazy fly ball to center, and here's Wayne Causey. Causey 0 for 2 on the day. The pitch from Wilson, 3-7 right-handed. It's a fly ball to right field. It's a high fly ball. Canigliaro waiting for it to come down and gloves it for the second out. That's 11 in a row retired by Wilson, and here's Dick Green. Wilson gets his sign. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-8 right-handed, a grounder to second base X. That's going to be Jones. Dalton Jones, a 4E34 at second. As he ranges behind the bag, here's the play on not a flat one. That's going to be a roll on the 20. On an 11, it's the E range. So that's going to be an 8 on a 34. E34, an 8, and he boots it. Error Jones. E4, Green reaches. First error of the ball game. Green would be a 20 not held. He'd have to roll a 4 to get it. They're going to gamble and not hold him. And he's going to try for that 4. This is kind of risky, but we're going to do it. Here's the roll. He doesn't get it. Next pitch to Hirschberger. 110 right-handed. He pops him up left side. Petrocelli squeezes it, and that will do it in the 5th. No runs, no hits, a man left on. There was an error. Still 1-0. Right? Yeah, we used to hear that all the time. Give that man a contract. Another thing, did you guys ever do this? I remember doing this when I was young. I'd go to the game with a buddy who was also a Strat player. And I would say, not all of my friends, but most of them did play. And you'd be sitting there trying to defend, saying, I think so-and-so is actually a 3 in left field. And they'd hit a ball out there, and he'd butcher it, and you'd look at each other and shake your heads and go, nah, he's a 4. My best friend still refers to players like that. I'll be watching a game. What do you think he is? What was his rating? What did Strat give him? What should he get? Things like that. What should he have gotten? Bottom third of the order for the Red Sox. They've been stymied so far by Terry, who will be entering his first inning of potential fatigue here. He's just an S5. Foy, Tillman, and the pitcher's spot due up. Pretty good hitting pitcher at that. Terry into the windup. The pitch to Foy is a 5-11 right-handed. It's a grounder to first base X. That's going to be Brian again. 5E30. Here's the play. On a 19, he makes the play. Takes it to the bag himself. How about that, Billy Bryan? Especially the range, and especially in these older days, right, when most of it was just Hal Richman's opinion, whereas now they use a lot of the analytics to do it, and there's still some flaws to that, of course. Yeah, and those, Ben, right, if you look at the basic side of the card, like a 5E2 in advanced will usually be a 4 on the basic side. See, when I started playing, of course, there were no error ratings. You were a 1, 2, 3, or a 4. There were no 5s either. Here's Tillman now, 0 for 1. Terry with the windup. Pitch to Tillman on 2-6. It's a comebacker. Terry knocks it down, picks it up, flips it to Brian, and there's 2 down. Early in the game, I'm inclined to let Wilson bat. He's a good hitting pitcher. He singled his first time up, and he's going to bat here. The pitch from Terry. It's a 5-8 right-handed. He pops him up left side. Wayne Causey has it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Terry. We've played 5 innings. Heck of a pitching duel here today. The Athletics leading it 1-0. There goes my voice. Right, yeah, like last year they gave, I'm so bad with names these days. It's really bothering me. I'm thinking of the Colorado shortstop who got a 1 as a rookie. Now, in these days, that would have never happened. I don't care how good he was. He would have started off a 3 at best, and he would have had to earn it by doing it again. They didn't, they hosed him. They didn't know what to give him. Anyone want to shout out the name of the Colorado shortstop? I'd be eternally grateful. God, it's another player had that name too, damn it. It's a name I should know. Anyway, I'm not going to rack my brain on that because I'll never think of it. 5 innings, 1-0. Billy Bryan will lead it off for Kansas City. Stahl to follow. Bryan's 0 for 2 today as Wilson comes set. Here's the pitch on a 1-7. He pops him up on the right side. Scott will take it. 1 down. Here comes Stahl now. Stahl 1 for 2. Wilson gets the sign. That's a 6-2 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to right field. Backing up is Canigliaro on the track, hauls it in. Stahl bids for a homer, 1-5. He has the power. On the roll of a 10, however, it's just a loud out to right. Tovar! Thank you, Mike. That's it. Kenyon chimes in as well. That's it. Tovar. Yeah, we have a Tovar in this card set. How hard is it? Right? Here's Charles. Charles 1 for 2. Wilson, if you take away that error, he's been flawless since the walk to Suarez in the second inning. The pitch to Charles. 3-6 right-handed fly ball into center. It's playable for Gosker, who puts it away, and it's another easy inning for Earl Wilson. I'll tell you what I remember when I knew it was a whole new ball game, and I was doing stats on my Strat-O-Matic cards on my own. I had my own rating system. Around the late 70s, I would say that got developed. But when I first read the Bill James 1982 abstract, I thought, holy cow, it's a whole new game now. So for me, that's the moment, I would pinpoint that moment. And it took a while for it to catch on, to pick up steam. Terry will enter his second endurance inning here, and he'll face the top of the Boston lineup. Rico Petrocelli to start things off. He's 1 for 2. Terry with the windup. Pitch to Rico. It's a 4-9 right-handed fly ball into right field. He lofts one the other way. Stahl backs up a few steps and hauls it in. And right, Kenyon, maybe not for the better. I've always kind of felt that it's not the tool that's at fault, but the people using it. It's always good to have the information, in other words, but they went overboard with it. Gosker 1 for 2 on the day. Terry stares in now. The windup. The pitch is a 2-6 right-handed grounder down to first base. Brian to his right. Shovels to Terry covering. And there's 2 away. There were a lot of factors that killed pitching, definitely. That's a complicated, to me, that's a very complicated subject. I think it really began in 1969. But that wasn't the only factor, not by a long shot. Here's Yastrzemski, 0 for 2. Terry the windup. The pitch to Yaz is a 6-10 left-handed. Slow roller to second. Green charges it on the run, flips to Brian. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Terry. We've played 6 innings. 1-0 at Kansas City. Yeah, of course they do, Franklin. They've always used anything that they thought they could to justify salaries. $29 is not 30, Eddie. We go to the 7th, a tense 1-0 duel here. Earl Wilson, Ralph Terry. Bottom third of the order for Kansas City. Hawk Harrelson will lead it off. He's 1 for 2. Trying to look ahead to what we're going to do with Terry's spot. Wilson into the windup. That's a 2-10 right-handed. Grounder to second base. That's Jones. Throws him out. 1 away. Here's Suarez now, 0 for 1 with a walk. And Wilson, 1 rough inning. Other than that, he's been in complete command. And here's the pitch to Suarez. 6-6 right-handed, lazy fly ball to center. Gosker barely has to move, and with 2 out, we're going to go ahead and let Terry bat. Probably against my better judgment. Let's see how long he can go. He's throwing a shutout here. He's earned the right to stay in as Wilson comes set. The pitch is a 3-4 right-handed. He struck him out. Another 1-2-3 inning for Wilson as we stretch for the 7th. Athletics lead at 1-0. Remember, an Athletics win would give them sole possession of first place. Who'd have thunk that? What a story. That's got to be the story of the replay so far. And again, I don't expect it to last. But it's kind of fun drama for a while. Let's take a look at the Mookie cam here as we pause. Oh, sure, there he is. In his usual spot. He was, when I was setting up, he was all over the playing field. He reset my one laptop, so I had to open all the windows again. But he calmed down by game time. Did we get a spin there, Perry? Are we back? I know, Franklin, he's not done growing yet. Okay, Terry stayed in. He's going to be looking at Scott, Canigliaro, and Jones in the bottom of the 7th. John Wyatt takes off the jacket in the Kansas City pen. Oh, the spin rate. Exactly. Yes, I agree 100%. The chase for the spin rate, that's really accelerated it. On the other hand, we were having problems even before that became a trackable metric. That's a lot of things. It's not one thing. Yeah, I get it now, Perry. I was afraid maybe the little white circle was spinning on the screen. Before we go to the bottom of the 7th, I'm going to top off my cup. Not much left there, a few sips. Here's Scott to start things off. Terry gets the sign from Suarez. Scott 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch from Terry. It's a 4-11 right-handed. It's a grounder to short. Causey charges it on the run. Throws him out, 1 down. Here's Tony C now. 0 for 2 on the day. Terry into the windup. Pitch to Tony C. 1-9 right-handed. Lazy fly ball into left field. Hawk Harrelson is there. Makes the grab, 2 away. And speaking of streaks, 9, 10, that's 12 in a row retired by Terry. Agree 100%. Thank you, Kenyon. Now I want to check that. I'm going to check his age. I'm not checking your facts, I believe you. This season, he is 30. According to Baseball Reference, 66, his 31-year-old season. He only logged 3 1/3 innings in 67. Here's Dalton Jones, 2 away. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Terry the sign, the windup, and the pitch is a 4-3 left-handed. It's a fly ball to right field X. That's going to be for Stahl. Tough play for Larry. A 3-6 as he races towards the line. It's a 3. He's not going to get that. That's down for a base hit. So a 2-out single by Jones. And that's going to bring Joe Foy to the plate. Foy 0 for 2 on the day. Terry, a 5-inning pitcher, he could be running out of gas here. He says he's fine. We'll see. From the stretch now, the pitch to Foy. That's a 6-3 right-handed, a base hit into right field. That's an open single. Jones could try to go to third. He's a 15-17. Stahl a 0. Here they're going to send him. Kansas City's going to cut that off and hold Foy to first. Foy representing the go-ahead run. One more hit or walk will fatigue Terry. This is a tough decision. He still has a shutout intact. That is the pro. The con is he's a 5-inning pitcher who appears to be losing it. And there's Kyle Worrell. Kyle, are you new to the chat? I don't recognize the name. Again, with my memory, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I apologize if I'm wrong. But welcome anyway. Glad to have you. Yeah, I'm going to let him go for the shutout. He gets one more batter. The pitcher's on deck. Tillman's the 8-hitter. He's 0 for 2. The pitch from Terry is a 3-3 right-handed. It's a grounder to second. Green takes it, throws it to Brian, and Terry escapes the jam. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. 7 scoreless innings for Ralph Terry. 1-0 Athletics after 7 innings of play. Yes, sir. Welcome to Kyle. It's a great group. If you've been lurking, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Thank you, Ben. Well, it worked out. 5-inning pitcher, he's gone 7. I'll throw this out to the group as well. What are we going to do with him in the bottom of the 8th? Okay, the how can I put this? Part of me wants to see him go for the shutout. As the fan in me, let's put it this way, the fan in me wants to see him go for the shutout. If you were managing Boston and I was managing Kansas City right now, I would go right to Jack Aker for the save here. What would you do? You can think about that as Kansas City bats in the top of the 8th. Wilson's been fantastic as well, top of the order for Kansas City. Wayne Causey's 0 for 3 today. Welcome to Jeffrey. Causey standing in from the left side. Wilson the windup. That's a 6-2 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to right. He'd be a weak. He's not going to get it anyway on an 11. That's going to be caught in right by Canigliaro. 1 down. One thing I know for sure, Causey's coming out of the field to the bottom of the 8th. Here's Dick Green, 0 for 3. The pitch from Wilson is a 6-2 base hit into center field for Dick Green. A 1-out single, his first hit of the afternoon. Just the 5th Kansas City hit. Red Sox have 6. Here's Hirschberger, 1 for 3. He had a triple in the first inning, was left standing there. Wilson's a 7-inning starter. He's in his 2nd endurance inning. From the stretch, the pitch to Hirschberger is a 2-10 right-handed. It's a liner right into the glove of Jones. He fires it back to first. Green back to the bag in time. Liner to second, 2 down. And here's Billy Bryan. He'll also be coming out of the field. Wilson into the windup. 5-10 lefty, grounder to first. Scott will take it himself. That's going to be no runs a hit, 1 left on. We're going to have some defensive changes for Kansas City. Let's see what everybody came up with. Let him start. Strat probabilities say he's going to get hit. Short rope for Perry. Kyle would pull him. Franklin would pull him. Not surprisingly, it's pretty divided. All right, let's check the bench here. For Billy Bryan, Joe Nostic's going to come over and come in and play left field, with Hawk Harrelson moving to first base. 2E7 plus 1 in left for Nosek. Harrelson a 4E18 at first. We need a shortstop. We have to assume, having not played in a couple games, that Campy's only available to pinch hit, not play the field. So Chavaria will come in and take over at short. A 3E42. Aker is throwing, and he's been throwing. He's ready. Terry is going to start the inning. And if he gives up anything, he's done. Boston will send up a pinch hitter to start things off. That'll end Wilson's day. Eight fine innings for Earl Wilson. 1, 4, 5 hits, just the lone run. He walked only 1, struck out 3, 4. Let's check the Boston bench. George Thomas pinch hit in real life. That's good enough for me. It's going to be Thomas. Thomas 222 on the year, 10 for 45, 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Terry set now. Here's the windup and the pitch to Thomas. That's a 1-11 grounder to short. Chavaria has it, throws him out. 1 down. Another case of you put a guy in for defense and the ball finds him. Chavaria just in the game for defense, throws out Thomas at first. 1 away, and here's Petroselli. Rico 1 for 3 on the day. Terry into the windup. That's a 5-4 right-handed. It's a fly ball to center field X. That's Hirschberger. Good outfielder, 2E8. Ranging to his left. Here's the play on a 14. He makes the catch, 2 down. And here's Gosker. Gosker 1 for 3. Terry winds and deals. 3-6 righty. He pops him up left side. Charles will take it. It's a 1-2-3-8 for Ralph Terry. We've played 8 innings. It's 1-0 Kansas City. I can tell you this much, unless Kansas City gets a bunch of runs here, Akers coming on for the 9th. As much as I would like to see him throw the shutout, they're trying to win a game here, and it's a big one for them. Boston needs a new pitcher. Stahl, Charles, Harrelson. Let's see what we've got. Their bullpen is less than impressive. Could be Osinski. Could be Lonborg. Let me check the usage display on these boys. Could also be Brandon. Forgot about him. That's who it's going to be. Bucky Brandon's going to come on. Brandon probably the best option against righties, and he needs the work. So Bucky Brandon will be looking at Larry Stahl, Ed Charles, Hawk Harrelson here in the ninth. So he had no complete games. Thank you, Ben, for that research. Appreciate it. I tell you, this is the kind of things that make this so much fun. I just love the involvement of everyone. Here's Stahl. He's 1 for 3. Brandon's ready to work here. He goes into his windup. The pitch to Larry is a 4-7 left-handed. He struck him out. Stahl down on strikes. Here's Ed Charles, 1 for 3 on the day. Brandon into the windup. Pitch to Ed is a 1-4. Foul ball behind the plate. Tillman back, drops the mask, and makes the catch 2 down. Tension mounting with each batter. Here's Hawk Harrelson. Harrelson 1 for 3. Brandon into the windup. It is a 6-7 righty, and he loses in ball 4. A 2-out walk to Harrelson. Harrelson, a star 18 base stealer. Brandon, a +1. Tillman, a +3. He'd be a 20. Held, he's an 18. Trying for the lead, 4 or a 5. 7, he does not get it. And the batter will be Suarez, the catcher. Brandon now working from the stretch. The pitch to Ken Suarez is a 3-8. Struck him out. So a fine inning by Bucky Brandon keeps it a 1-run game. And trotting in from the bullpen, Jack Aker. I mean, come on, wouldn't you? Look at those numbers. What's he done in the replay? Well, not quite as pretty, but he's got 12 saves, 0-2 record, 3.60 ERA. They're going to flip-flop outfielders here. Stahl's going to move to left. Nosek will move to right. Stahl, slightly better rating in left than in right. Nosek is the same in all 3 fields. At least I think he is. He's the same as left and right. Yep, left, center, right is a 2E7. Also third base 4E29, interestingly. It's the heart of the order for the Red Sox. You're not kidding, Kenyon. This is not a spot for for Terry to pitch his 9th inning, that's for sure. Fine job by Terry. 8 innings, 6 hits, no runs, did not walk a single batter, struck out 3. Here's Aker now. Exactly, yeah, you got to try to win the game. Duckworth, exactly. Although Terry's been doing it all year. He came into the game with a 1.93 ERA. And he's got a pretty good card as opposed to Duckworth. Still, I like the comparison. It's definitely valid. Okay, here's Yaz to lead it off. 1-0 Kansas City. They scored their run in the second on 3 consecutive singles. Other than that, it's been a pitcher's game. Gerald for the Sox. Yaz 0 for 3. Aker gets the sign from Suarez. The pitch to Yaz on a 3-11. Yaz bangs a base hit into right field. It's a leadoff single, and the tying run is aboard. Let's check the battery now. Aker with a great hold. Suarez, however, with a +3 arm. That's a -1. That would make Yaz a 14. They can't risk that. They'll have to hold Yaz on, making him a 12. Was it that bad, really? Did that conflict with this card? But I'm guessing part of that was National League work. He must have a card. Where did you say he ended up, Ben? You just uncovered something here that I was unaware of. He must have a nationally pitched for the Mets. Okay, we're going to get to that. We'll get to that after the game. I want to look that up. He might have 2 cards. I didn't even know that. Yastrzemski held at first. Here's Scott. Scott's 1 for 3 today. Aker now working out of the stretch. The pitch to Scott is a 3-8 right-handed. It's a high fly ball to deep left field. Harold said, no, it's left field. It's Stahl going back to the track to the wall. George Scott has just walked it off with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th, and he beats ace reliever Jack Aker. And listen to that crowd. (3-8) to 15. The roll is a 9. Yastrzemski singles. And the teammates are mobbing Scott as he crosses the plate, and the fans are going crazy here in Fenway. Terry has already disappeared into the tunnel. No one more stunned than Jack Aker. Two to 1, the final. I'll have the totals for you in a moment. George Scott. Holy smoke. I'm checking his numbers now. For Scott, that is his team-leading 8th home run of the season. That moves him into the league leaders column. And more importantly for the Red Sox, he just won the game for them. Aker does not get anybody out. With the loss, he drops to 0-3. So 12 saves, but he's blown a few. 2 hits, 2 runs. Bucky Brandon ends up getting the win. Bucky Brandon is 1-2. And that could be the beginning. Kyle, I think you hit it right on the nail head. That could be the beginning of the end for the A's. Cinderella story so far. Either him or Scott. Either Wilson or Scott, player of the game, I'd have to think. Wilson and Terry, Franklin says. For the Red Sox, 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Kansas City, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Well, I think it kind of has to be Scott. Walk-off 2-run homer. Yeah, it's Scott. George Scott. No relation to George C. Scott, of course. I don't know why I always think of that. That's, oh, hell, what do you call that? Association, mind association. Yes, sir, Patton. You know, they wanted to give that role to oh man, I'm so bad with names anymore. This is an age thing. I just know it. We've got a doubleheader coming up on the schedule. Cleveland at Chicago. I'm looking for something here. Robert Mitchum. They wanted to give the Patton role to Robert Mitchum, and he said, give it to George, he'll work for it. It's just another job to me. Interesting character, Robert Mitchum. I saw a thing with him on that oldies station with Robert Osborne. And he asked him, what was your favorite role? And Mitchum responded, I don't have one. And Osborne pressed him, and Mitchum says, they don't pay you to watch them. That was pretty funny. It was just a job to him, in other words. Hell of a game today, guys. I want to thank everybody. We've still got 22 people here. Holy cow. I do feel bad for Terry. It was the right move. There's no doubt about it. You got a 1-0 league. You got a guy who led the majors in saves that year. That's what he's there for. Holy cow, that was fun. That was fun. First game of the doubleheader tomorrow. I'm not going to promise to play 2 because I've learned that I normally don't have the stamina for it. But we've got a good matchup in game 1. It'll be Sonny Siebert for the Indians and Gary Peters for the White Sox. Yes, El Dorado. Which they remade as Rio Bravo, basically. Only working until 1. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. Good for you, Ben. Oh, my goodness. Games like this, you don't even want to leave the field, do you? Holy cow. All I can say is thanks everybody for making this possible. This would not be happening without you guys. So thank you once again, everybody. So until tomorrow, as Ben said, wishing you all a pleasant good evening. I'm going to get something to eat and get out of here. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow, 1:30 Pacific.